Hi everyone, just 4 months ago I released a video where I showed how AI can simplify the presentation preparation process. But today, it's a little bit too old. Today, we're not just easing it, we're completely revolutionizing it. And welcome to the next level of presentations that we can produce nearly with the perfect design, almost at no cost. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about because I used to do those presentations myself. I did the pitch decks, corporate offers, I did company introductions, all in PowerPoint or Google Slides. And it's so draining every single time you need to make one, just because not only you need to think what the content you need to fill in with, but also you need to think about the design, right? What are the perfect icons? What are the font size? What are the pictures I need to put on the slides? And as I'm not the designer myself, and I actually find it hard to make it visually appealing for someone else, it was very, very hard for me to produce high quality presentations. So I needed to use a designer instead. Well, now the things have changed because now we have a really cool tool that was introduced by Manus. It is called Manus Slides that allow us to produce nearly perfect presentations almost at no time. This tool don't just save time from slide torture, it empowers to produce pitch perfect, visually stunning presentation almost with zero effort. And if you like it, follow me to stay ahead of the game and discover the most exciting AI tools that will truly supercharge your business productivity. All right, let's dive right in. First of all, let's review what were up-to-date tools up to this point before the Manus Slides. I think when I showed in my last and previous video about the AI in slides, it was Gamma, the most coolest service that we could use that allowed us to produce pretty nice presentations like this, for example. So this presentation was mostly generated from a single prompt, and you would go with like different slides that later on you can click and present. Those are sort of okay looking, but there is a little bit of problem just because, for example, here the presentations were not aligned to 16:9 ratio, so you would need to edit it a little bit. But also, to the most part, the presentation is good. It has some kind of a nice graphics in it, some kind of nice locations of those boxes and stuff like this. But generally, if we're talking about the presentation content, if you generate it from a single prompt, it's going to be too obvious, too general. And even if I put my own content on the presentation, sometimes it's just not as good. I would say some of the images, mostly those images are AI generated, but also some of those slides I've actually edited myself. So that's why this slide is definitely not 16:9. I've added a couple more features that I wanted to talk about, but generally it was sort of nicely looking presentations. Here's another one about the DeepSeek, for example. You can see the design is sort of good, but if we're talking about the content, it's a little bit limited. It's too general. Here we clearly see there's a lot of text. Well, the table, well, probably I have provided the information about this one. I mean, it's okay and it's fine if you need just a quick presentation, but if you deploy it, if you want to go on a public speech or you go in conference, that probably wouldn't be just enough, okay? And that's why we have another way of quality today. So Manus has introduced Manus Slides a couple weeks ago, as I mentioned already. So let's actually, first of all, take a look at their demo and how it actually looks. Oh, and by the way, I have actually muted the sound just to make sure there is no any copyright issues. But here the pretty cool thing is this, just from a single prompt, you can basically generate the whole presentation. And the difference between Manus and Gamma, for example, that Gamma does not have an agentic framework built in, because Manus, first of all, it's an agentic framework that does deep research for you, like, for example, ChatGPT deep research or ChatGPT operator even. So it has much more inbuilt features in it. And just before producing the presentation, it does a comprehensive analysis. Well, in Gamma, everything you put on the slides, there is like an AI agent inside that will kind of sort out the information on the slide. So it's a whole new level and different approach. Here, you can not only find, relative information, find the right sources for your presentation, you can also put all that on the slide, which is truly unique and groundbreaking, in my opinion. So let's actually take a look. Here, from a single prompt, they were able to produce this kind of deep presentation. There are algorithmic principles, there are kind of real-world applications. Look at those icons and the colors. This is amazing. And the cool part, the whole presentation is fully editable. Another pretty cool thing that you can actually export those presentations into PowerPoint or download this as PDF. So we're gonna take a look at this now, but this all is quite exciting and I wanna see if we can generate something like this. So in order to go to Manus, you have to go manus.im and then you will have something like this. Basically, you need to click get started and you will be asked to sign in. Well, in order to sign in, you will need a phone number and you will need your email to sign in. Basically, it's pretty simple. But if you guys want to get additional 500 credits, because the usage of the model is the credit base, and basically if we go to pricing, you would need to be paying like 16 bucks a month for like 1900 credits, and you got 300 credits every single day. Well, you can also get a turnaround and use it for free if you use the code that I'll share with you. So basically that's kind of my referral link. I'm not affiliated in a sense, but I will get additional credits and you will get additional 500 credits. So it's kind of a win-win situation for both of us. And you will get also daily 300 credits and 500 credits as a new member. And I think when you sign up, if you sign up now, they have a promo going that you get additional 1000 credits. So in general, that will be about 1800 credits on your free new account that you will get instantly. And this is approximately about 6 presentations that you can generate. And I'll show you in a second how it actually looks. So first of all, I asked my AI to generate a presentations with the leading AI model. So let's take a look at the prompt. So can you create a presentation for me about the main and leading image generation models, blah, 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 etc., etc. Pretty much I used a similar prompt to generate this output in Gamma, and let's actually see what we have received from Manus on this one. So it goes, okay, I'll create a comprehensive presentation, and I basically provided the whole outline I want to include in my presentation. Then it goes and searches for different websites. It does research, what are the top image generation models, what are the tools and stuff like this. Then it actually scrolling down, and the reason it actually scrolls down because it's using a virtual computer or virtual machine to actually search on the internet. It reads the blog posts, reads the different sites, and try to gather additional information because I haven't provided any additional context here. So it does its agentic work for quite some time, and then when it gathers all the information, I also asked it to generate some AI images. So here it went, it's actually searched for different images, and here it actually generated a few images for me. So I'm not actually sure what model it used to generate those images. Maybe they have their own model, I'm not quite sure yet, it's not specified here. But then once it's generated the outline of the presentation, it's generated the images, it goes with the presentation design. Basically here we got the slides outline, and then it goes and generates the presentation. So in total I think it took about so the final answer was about 11:30, and the prompt that I asked was about 11:16. Okay, so it took me about 14 minutes to get the final output, but let's actually see what is the quality of the output that we get. So here it goes with different descriptions. In order to get the presentation, we have it here in slides. And here we go. So we've got AI image generation for business, June 2025. And here we go. So let me make sure it fits on the slide. So the AI image generation revolution market reality check. It provided some key KPIs for the market, why business leaders should care. I love the icons. I love the setup. It actually looks very professional. So here it added different images, which is really nice. And what basically image generation is used for in business. Again, pretty nice. The gradient colors all looks great to me. Actually, the presentation is in one sort of design. It's a gradient of grayish and whitish colors, which is okay. Leading AI image generation. Oh, how I like it. I like it so much because it also provided different kind of icons. Actually, we can pretty much see sometimes it fails to provide an icon. For example, here for the butterfly, they don't have an icon. So probably you would need to go and edit it yourself in a PowerPoint or somewhere else. So there are small hiccups, I think, that you may need to double check to make sure everything looks perfect. But on the other hand, look at this. You get all the prices, you get the access, best for what, and a lot of this stuff. And it all looks like, you know, even when I pull in on the on a certain icon, it has a little animation built in. How cool is that? Probably I couldn't build this in PowerPoint, I guess. It looks like, you know, some web page widget or something to me. Let's look here. Market leaders, ChatGPT and Midjourney. That's also pretty nice. It has pre-selected a few models that it considers to be the market leaders. I think it's pretty fair comparison. I would also add Flux 1.1 here. It might be used a little bit less by general designers, more by like practitioners who know how to make an API calls and to access the model and fine-tune the model. But I mean, for the designer kind of interface group, I guess GPT-4o and Midjourney are like really go-to tools right now, and it even provide a kind of straight and considerations. Really nice. So we got enterprise ready solutions that you can use yourself, and here it added actually Flux 1 Pro, which is again pretty nice. The other thing that we need to consider when we downloaded this into PowerPoint, that the slides ratio not always is 16:9. So we'll need to adjust that, and I'll talk about this a little bit later. And finally, I asked it to provide a summary table. And how cool is this? This is really amazing. I mean, the colors, the tools, and everything. And again, for Adobe Firefly, apparently it just missed an icon, so we'll need to add the icon yourself, because the full presentation is like totally editable. Now I can pre-select each and everything and just change this custom brand training, model fine-tuning, for example. Okay, so, and then I export this presentation into PowerPoint. I can also edit it in PowerPoint. It also added the business rating, and I think it evaluated the business rating itself. I'm not sure actually how it didn't get deep into this one, but that's another cool feature. So I really love it. And then I asked it to add the fine-tuning. I mean, the presentation looks really good. Imagine how much time that would take me to go, or someone else to actually go and add all those icons, add all this text, make those placements. This takes tons of time. So here it even added implementation strategy that I didn't ask for, but again, pretty cool slide, nicely formatted, that I love. And then there is another slide basically in the same format I think the first slide was. So again, I love this consistency, and it all looks very professional, very nice, like I used to make it in Canva or somewhere else. Love it. Really love it. Let's actually take a look. Let's exit edit, and we can actually download this presentation in PowerPoint. I have already done this, so let's, just to save time, let me just open it for you. So once I download it, what we can see basically, if I go to the full screen mode and let me swap that, we can actually see that some of the slides are not 16:9, and this is probably the only thing that we will need to adjust right now. So as you can see, my slide finishes right here, and you can go and change the slide ratio yourself, which I wouldn't really suggest doing. So what I would suggest doing instead is going and just selecting the whole thing, or maybe just go and move this one a little bit up, and you can basically, everything is editable, and you can move this one up. If this one doesn't fit there, you can either put it on the other slide. So you can go and delete the text. However, this thing actually leaves. So I can just go crop this and move this one somewhere here. So for example, if I don't need this kind of bad statement at the end, I can just go and just, relocate something a little bit just to make sure everything fits on the slides. But in terms of the context and in terms of the visual appeal and the design, I think it's just near to perfect. So again, here we can see that this part actually doesn't fit there. We may just remove this one. Here, everything fits just perfectly. So this slides is, ready, presentation ready. We don't need to edit anything. The only thing we might do, we need to add like an icon here. And again, you can do it pretty much here. So for Firefly, we can go with art. And let me say, let's add something like this. So we can go and pre-select this one, go here, graphics format. And again, this presentation is not about teaching you how to do PowerPoint presentations, but it just quickly, we can place an icon here ourselves. Again, this is just one icon. I don't need to redo all the stuff myself, but again, it's all here, just missed on one, which is fine. But I mean, for the rest ones, we can see that the slides are a little bit off, but the quality is really good. So everything is pretty much editable, every single icon, every single text. So it's just amazing in my opinion. All right, let's take a look at another demo. So another thing I asked it to do, you can also provide the context. So here, for example, I went and said, okay, can you help me create a conference stage ready presentation based on the context I've prepared? So I've been giving a presentation and I've written my speech. Again, the speech was created with AI, and you can probably guess that, but that was about, the human values and in the AI era or something like this. So I had a lot of text to be said, and basically each slide, it sort of had a split on each slide, maybe not everywhere, but somewhere it's kind of written right in there. It didn't do a lot of like research, so if you provide some context and it doesn't need to search the web, you actually save a little bit of credits here. So that's pretty cool. And here it went in and generated me a presentation. And let me just open it in PowerPoint, or we can also actually see here, and I'll show you. So here is the presentation, and the reason it's kind of high level a little bit, just because I asked it to be so, because I don't need a lot of text on these slides. I'm presenting on a conference, so it should, like, one slide should propose just one idea. I shouldn't be describing the tables and conditions and a lot of information. It's just one idea that you put on the slides. And here's an example how it actually looked. So we got, yeah, it has significant limitations, recommends. This picture actually has the watermark on it, so we may change this one. So I mean, it kind of, it did provide even some kind of the picture from the internet. It kind of formatted nice. I think the one that I used for real presentation was created in Gamma, but this one is totally fine. I mean, it doesn't have, the only difference is it doesn't have a lot of images in it. But again, if you need an image somewhere, you can just go and add it. It's pretty simple, right? I mean, the majority of the job is there. There's pretty cool design. I really like the gradient of the colors. So there are light colors. It has different structure. So it's not every time the same, like an image in a text box. It kind of has different structures and icons. And I mean, this looks really, really good to me. I think you can actually go with this one. Maybe you can add animations yourself. It doesn't add animations in particular, but I mean, the content is there, the design is there. It's just a little bit of polish that is left from your side. And I think in the future, in the near future, we're gonna get rid of the animation stuff as well, because it will be also automated with AI. Right, another demo I wanted to show you is basically I used it to generate a speech for AI in accounting. I've been asked recently to perform on stage basically about accounting and how AI is used there. So I have provided some of the background, and I want to show you what was there. And also it actually perfectly works with different languages. So here I mentioned that I'm planning to run a public speech, AI in development and accounting. That's the name of the conference. Again, it's actually in Latvian, it's in a different language, but it handles it perfectly. So this is my prompt, and then it goes and generates me the presentation, and then I also asked it, so it's ready, and then I ask it, amazing, now you can please prepare text for each slide that I need to speak about. So let's actually first of all see how the presentation actually looks. So that's the presentation. Again, it's in different language about AI in accounting, and here I show that there is like a revolution in accounting, some key percentages that it actually found itself. I didn't prompt it, I didn't provided with additional information. It was able to do the kind of market research itself. Then it goes with financial analysis. And again, this presentation does have a lot more, terms, does have a lot of more icons, less photos, less images, which is kind of fine because I'm trying to present and pursue the idea of how it's kind of changing accounting. And that's why, there is a lot of factual data, but also I asked it to actually generate the sources for each slide. So it generated me the markdown text that I need to talk about on each slide. But what is more important, I asked it to actually provide me with the sources. So it was able to actually get to me like the State of AI in Accounting report. It doesn't provide on me with the link, but when I can go to the Google, I can pretty much quickly find that research. So that was this research that it actually read and where it gathered the data, so you can validate it. But again, another cool thing is that first of all, you can control what it actually searched for. Sorry, let me get back here. Oh, it's actually here. So first of all, you can double check what was the actual source. And second of all, you can read it yourself and add it to the slides because you are asked to actually provide some references. That's how it works. But I actually, when I was preparing this presentation in real life, I noticed that some of the slides that it has created were a little bit irrelevant to my presentation. So that's why I actually went to ChatGPT. I asked to run a deep research to provide me with the information I need to put on the slides. And then basically I copy pasted this information right in here with different slides and what you need to include on each of the slide. And down below, I have asked Manus to actually create a presentation on this one, because ChatGPT itself can't make you nice presentations. It just can put information on the slides, which is a little bit too general. But here I provided explicitly what is the content of each slide and ask it to generate. So now on the second term, it's regenerated previous presentation with the new information that I have provided. And now this one is much more to the point what I actually asked, because in my case, at least ChatGPT deep research was a little bit better in terms of the context in comparison to Manus kind of research that was provided. And now I've actually finally used kind of a combo of those presentations to provide the final output, which is really nice, and I loved it. It took me just, a couple hours to provide a presentation in full without me actually digging very, very deep into topic and researching all the different websites. It's just using the different applications of different tools and combining them together to create a nice output that you can later on present. There you have it. AI-driven slides that are no longer just helpful, they're absolutely essential for anyone serious about maximizing productivity and making a powerful impression. Manus Slides is a new secret weapon to dominate presentation with almost zero effort and almost no cost. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, and make sure you stay tuned in more cutting-edge AI tools that will transform your business game. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.